African Americans and Native Americans have endured historical trauma that is carried in their bodies. Both groups have suffered from colonization and by having dominant standards dictate how they should act, dress, and wear their hair. African Americans' hair was described as frizzy, nappy, unruly, and was often that subject of ridicule, quoted Patton 25. In colonial texts, Native Americans were also described as unkempt, and during the boarding school era were subject to delousing with kerosene and pesticides before cutting their hair. In the case of hair, many African American and Native American women have tried to conform to white women's standard of beauty and subjected to their hair to harsh chemicals, hot irons, and other methods to tame their hair. However, African American and Native American women today are undertaking what I like to call natural hair journeys. In a sense, they are decolonizing themselves by staying in touch with their natural roots.
My name is Letitia.
My name is Kimba McDonald.
I would like to give my First Nation name, which is Minowe Kidawin, which means cloud in the wind. My Christian name is Donna Louise Edmonds Mitchell.
My name is Makeda Wallace.
My name is Sydney Marrow.
My name is Pamela Witcher.
My name is Anakwes. Translated into English, roughly, it means shooting star. My, Christian name, is Carrie Helm. As far as my Wampanoag name goes, that's my name right now. It's also been my name since I was about 5 years old, which is common nowadays in modern times, but traditionally, I wouldn't have the same name as when I was a child by this point in my life. Women's names or, men's names would change, when they hit puberty or when they, achieved some special thing in their life or did something that the community thought, was life-changing. They might change their name. Elders constantly change their names and were renaming themselves. And if you had the same name as someone in your community, you change your name out of respect for that person's family. Because in our culture, we believe that it takes a year for your manhood, your spirit, to reach the other side.
My parents are from Canada and Honduras, but I identify myself as being Black.
I identify as Black. Black as in, as far back as my family can trace, Black, American.
My nationality background is the bloodline of the colonization of this nation. I am of Native American descent from the Wampanoag peoples here with mixed blood from the Virginias of African, Cherokee, Blackfoot, Choctaw, and Scott.
My father is from Jamaica and my mother is from Haiti, so I just identify myself as a Caribbean, but going back into history as a Hebrew Israelite that goes far back to biblical times. But as far as my cultural identity, I'm Jamaican and Haitian.
I'm a member of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe on my father's side, and my mother is French-Canadian, Scottish, and Ganawage Mohawk.
I am third generation Cape Verdean American.
My ethnic background is mixed. It is African American, Mexican, and Irish. I hail from Los Angeles, California.
In 2 weeks, it'll be 2 years since I cut off all my hair to begin my natural hair journey. 2011, in July, the very end of July, I chopped everything off. So my last relaxer was April of 2011.
All of my life.
In October, my freshman year, so about 2011, so it's been a year and 9 months. So
I've been on my natural hair journey since February 6, 1980, when I was born, I guess. I definitely have cut my hair. I still cut my hair, although when we cut our hair, we do it only at certain times. And so if it's a full moon, we only trim our hair on a full moon or a new moon. On a full moon, we trim our hair if we want our hair to be healthier. And if we want our hair to grow longer, we trim it on a new moon. I haven't cut my hair short since about 2003. My best friend Michelle, who's not native, she was Cape Verdean, but she always wore her hair long, much longer than even myself, my sisters, or my cousin, any of my cousins. Her hair was, probably down to the back of her knees, and she loved her hair so much. It was the most important thing to her. And I remember one time we convinced her to come get her hair just trimmed at the hair salon, and they cut off maybe like an inch, and she cried for days, close to a week. She cried, and she was so upset about it, and she was in mourning. And that's the one thing that everyone remembers about her was her long hair. And she passed away in a car accident in 2003. So since then, my sister and I haven't cut our hair.
I think for the most part, it's really been natural all my life.
I've been on a journey all my life, but I cut off all the permed hair about 6 years ago.
So about 8 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and after her first round of chemotherapy, I cut her hair off, and then she decided that after it all fell off from her treatment for her breast cancer, side note, she's healthy now. After her treatment, she decided she would just keep her hair natural. And a few years went by, and I started doing research for her so that I could kind of help her keep her hair healthy and take care of it. And then I noticed that I kept wearing my relaxed hair curly. All the styles that I was doing in my hair were curly. And I was like, why am I straightening my hair just to wear it curly? And that's when I decided I was gonna ride it out and be natural.
It's my father really who's encouraged me and my sisters to keep our hair long. Most definitely, all the women on his side of the family. My father's Mashpee Wampanoag, and all the women have long hair. I know a lot of cultures in America, when women feel like when they reach a certain age, they have to start wearing their hair short. But that's not the case. With our women, definitely. All of my, great aunts and my father's cousins all wear their hair long.
I had braids as a young girl until I attended middle school. And I grew up in a predominantly black area of Boston. A lot of my classmates were dark-skinned and had natural hair, afros that were short or perms that were short. And when I got to school and I had these really long braids, I was frowned upon because I had good hair, whatever good hair is. And so they threatened me enough times with cutting off my braids, I decided to cut it myself. And then I had this enormous afro that was really soft and fluffy, and then I was still too cute and thought that I was better than everybody else by their standards. So I left it alone, transferred schools, became very bitter about my hair, and eventually cut it all off. So it was very, very, very short, and that was kind of unique for my adolescent years. Not many girls were willing to cut off their hair because it was kind of a status symbol.
I love my hair, and how it makes me feel about myself is even better. I accept all of me, especially as the gray hairs are coming in. I love them too, so that idea of youth and straight hair and good hair, I'm good. My hair is great, I'm great.
Growing up, I went to MECO, so it's like, MECO, if you don't know, it's a program where inner city kids go to like suburban schools. So it's like, when I did have my natural hair when I was younger, they were also interested about like my cultural identity. And then when I got older and I got a perm, a lot of girls around my age has perms, and it's like they don't really hold on to their identity and more ashamed of it that way, having a perm. So for me, I always been an Afrocentric woman, as I would call it. So I just wanted to go back to my roots.
I grew proud of my native African Scottish roots because I realized all of them, not one, but all of them make me who I was.
I believe black hair is controversial right now. There's a lot of talk going on about weaves and perming, and the whole natural thing right now is very trendy. So I feel like our hair is always being discussed or always being talked about. But in the media, I feel like weaves and straight hair and good hair is still the norm. I do see some naturals in some ads or commercials.
There's a lot of things about hair, for Wampanoag people definitely, especially, for men. Certain hairstyles, could be worn. I have two sons, one wears his hair short, which is the way Wampanoag boys back in traditional times would wear their hair. My other son has long hair, which would be less common to see because certain hairstyles, especially for males, they had to be earned. Rock shows a mohawk, that's a traditional Wampanoag hairstyle, and the men would actually take clamshells and pluck all of the hair out on the sides of their head and leave a patch this way, and only warriors were actually allowed to wear their hair like that. If you ever come upon a wild animal in the woods, when they're about to attack, a patch of hair rises along the nape of its neck and down its back. So that's why men wore that hairstyle. It was only as almost like psychological warfare.
Not all footage could be used due to the limitation requirements of this project.